go into the introduction. Oh, we're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live. Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us for another journey through 30 Days of Thought. Today, my buddy Paul Lucido and myself are going to be going into the caterpillar to butterfly section of 30 Days of Thought. Paul and I started doing this a year ago, so we can become a little more comfortable with being uncomfortable. Both Paul and myself at the time, actually, we're not great about doing Facebook Lives, but you know something, we said let's do it. This is the way we kind of face it. And 30 Days of Thought is about reading, writing notes about what you just read, and then once you do that, you record a video. Now, you can record a video and keep it on your phone and no one else will ever see it, or you can go onto Facebook and share it in groups and amongst your friends like we do. So today, we are going to be doing from Caterpillar to Butterfly. Here's the excerpt from it. Restriction is not forever, from Caterpillar to Butterfly. And Paul, take us away.
Thank you, Andrew, very much for having me today, and I appreciate us doing this. I think this is actually our 33rd episode of 30 Days of Thought, which means this is our 11th episode for this year. So considering that we just finished the first quarter, not too shabby. So I found this to actually be a very, very interesting topic, because the obvious to most people is, clearly speaks to the transformation and change. From caterpillar to butterfly speaks to transformation and change. But what's happening on a daily basis is most of us are going through some form of evolution, some form of evolving to the next level. We've talked in the past about the idea that, do you really ever arrive, or are you always in a state of arrival, a state of flux, to where it's one milestone to the next, to the next? I tend to believe that is how it is. And, until we cease to exist, will we know what that next state of transformation might be? And even then, who knows, right? But for right now, we can honestly say we're all growing. Companies are growing each and every day. We all know the adage that change is neither good or bad, change just is. And it just depends on what set of glasses you're looking and viewing change through, right? And so for me, I always try to look at the glass half full, and try to remain positive and optimistic, as most of our listeners are, especially listeners that are in our industry. There's a lot of movement, a lot of dynamic flow. And people, tend to want to stay positive and stay charged. Now, with that all being said, what I really found interesting about this particular topic or subject is that while this chapter touches on a very interesting aspect of transformation, rather it is how it is impacted by others' perceptions of us. This is really where I felt some movement from the subject, something that was compelling to me that Jay was touching on. Essentially, especially those very close to us. So you have to look at it this way. Those people that have been witnessing us over time, that are very near and dear to us. That could be parents, that could be coworkers, that could be near and dear friends. These are the people that tend to be so close that literally, by being as close as they are, they don't really observe the phenomena of change that is actually occurring. And that could be said for us in observing them. Now, when you have kids and your kids are growing, you do sort of witness that change, but we're all going from caterpillar to butterfly, right?
Yeah. A
lot of times, others that might be observing that could be potentially shrouded, clouded, if one might say, by their own prejudices, their own biases, their own preconceived notions of how they view the world and how they might even view us.
Yeah, the memory.
Right. So sometimes it's difficult as you're trying to get your wings to really get flight. And Jay made a point in there to say that sometimes it can actually hold you back from actually achieving flight. Found this to be very interesting because Many of the subjects throughout 30 Days of Thought, Andrew, have a tendency to talk about how to, and we all say this, leave that baggage at the door. Let's not let others influence us and hold us down, hold us back, shackle us. Let's break the shackles. Let's move forward. Where this chapter speaks, in my humble opinion, is to the fact that it can impact us. It can have effect upon us, on our psyche, on how we evolve, at what rate at which we evolve. However, he does point out that eventually you will evolve. It's not going to keep you from making that transformation, but it might impede the, we'll call it the progress, or how expedient you might move through that space. So with that being said, it kind of goes back to the fact that these folks might be still shrouded in their own cocoons. Okay. They haven't evolved from caterpillar to butterfly. They're still locked inside.
You mean like the bystanders of our lives, the people that are watching us, that don't see the transformation, that they haven't gone through the transformation?
Well, that's an interesting point. It could be. Because you got to remember, we all have our biases. We all have our preconceived notions. True evolvement, true change, true evolution is being able to break free of that and be open and receptive to new ideas and not view the world with envious eyes or jealousy. So
limited perspective.
Yes, sir. Because sometimes, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but it's be an interesting conversation. When you look at that, especially your coworkers, for example, are your coworkers really championing you to be the better version? Or is there a little bit of animosity, a little bit of wanting to hold back, maybe to tether that balloon down a little bit? Sometimes that happens in family dynamics. Families are not always behind and championing their loved ones. Sometimes they're looking at it going, oh, that's just Paul. We know Paul, whatever, or Andrew, or Jay. The reality of it is by opening up your social circle and creating a new environment of people in your life, that those people help bring you out. They help you evolve. They help you become a better version of yourself. And sometimes you have to get free of that in your own mind and go, look, I love you and I respect you, but I need to move forward. I need to go explore new frontiers, and you're anchoring me down, not in a good way. It's good to have an anchor to always come back to know that you're out here tethered, you're exploring, but you have home base to go back to, kind of metaphorically. But if that home base or that tethering is actually keeping you from moving further out, you might have to revisit that. So how about we kind of go there, brother? I want to hear your thoughts, and let's kick this around. That's what I got.
So listen, Paul, you know the way it goes. You go actually and you figure out the core of the meaning here. You actually explain it actually and explain why actually each section of the book, why Jay wrote it. You take it apart, great, and analyze it, and then I try to actually learn from what you've just done and try to actually create my analogy. And what an analogy! Can I talk about what you shared with me before about BRNG?
Please feel free to.
Okay. So you guys passed $1 billion. It's something actually that you did, but here's it. So what's interesting is like $1 billion is a lot. Now, I mean, what was
1 month? That's a month.
1 month. Yeah, $1 billion a month. You've been trying this. I remember all last year. There was a lot of cheerleaders actually on the sidelines. Waiting. But however, there's some people in the industry, probably your competitors, that actually always looked actually and said, hey, that's just BRNG. They're only doing 20 million a month. Don't worry about that. Nothing to worry about. And they kept you down actually, but you had plenty of cheerers. You had plenty of people cheering you on, that you could make it. You can get it over that billion mark, or just keep growing it. So you guys were that caterpillar that was becoming a butterfly that maybe some people in the industry, didn't actually see, but you guys are that butterfly 100%.
Well, listen, I appreciate that. And it's an interesting way to bring that analogy into this conversation. I don't want to, be here doing shameless plugs for PRMG, but let me tell you what I observed over the last 10 years with this company, and then we'll move forward into our conversation. Number one, a lot of competitors out there who do phenomenally well, and a lot of boats have risen with the tide over the last, over the first quarter, including PRMG, have actually been in our corner. I don't know if it's because we're not really a threat, perhaps, at this point, although,
nice guys.
There's plenty
good people. It's good people, good culture. There's no one that says that. Find actually one person to say something bad about PRMG or the people that work for it. It doesn't happen. I mean, I'm sure there's some outliers, but for the most part, we won't. I'm sure the majority of the people are like management, and like all the people that most people know out there in front, representing the PRMG name. So yeah, that's.
Hey, listen, I appreciate what you're saying, and I will say this, and Jay will like this too, because it speaks to the way he thinks. I honestly believe, and there's still plenty of room for improvement. That's my disclaimer. We are still evolving, but from a cultural blog, from a cultural alignment perspective, I think PRMG is pretty darn well aligned, and we've been practicing what we preach. We have a great top-down leadership. In other words, what's going on at the top has been demonstrated through their actions and behaviors over time that has contributed to the whole team. Everybody's marching to the beat of the drum. Everybody's really putting their heart into this company. I think they work hard because they want to work hard. They work hard because they want to be part of that collaborative culture. So I think all of that has contributed, along with good leadership and direction and foresight. Somebody at the helm, literally at the flybridge, looking over and saying, this is where we need to go, have all done a great job. And so, yeah, we finally did it. I want to say this goal was set in 2015. I think I have a mug somewhere that says on our way to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Here we are. It took 5 years, but here we are. Great. And you know what? It can only go up from here. Hopefully, once we get past the pandemic, and the fact that we did it even through the pandemic speaks volumes. So, hey,
yeah,
here you go.
Speaks volumes about the volumes.
In a nutshell.
So I mean, yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I really, it's great to be here. Great to be here celebrating that with you guys. All right, listen, I got nothing else to say about the change. I think you guys have actually implemented that change better than anyone. It's been great to see that. That's it. Any other comments about change?
No. I mean, look, I don't want this to go too long. I don't know how long we've been going for, but I just think that out of all the topics that we've discussed, I think this really should resonate with a lot of people. I think the message here is that one of the things you need to do in your life, being hyper aware, being spatially aware of what's going on around you and others that are around you, is to remain present as possible. And not only present in the sake of being visually present, but also being present in the minds of others. If it does matter to you what others might think, if it does matter to you what perceptions might be, then it is kind of your responsibility to ensure that you're in the game, that you are putting out the right information, you are putting out the right version of yourself. When your head hits the pillow at night, you want to feel good to know that, I did my best today. And if that person is not seeing it or understanding it, it's on them. They need to go through their course of evolution, course of change to come into their own. So it's kind of an interesting thing because it does speak to cause and effect if you believe in that kind of a thing. And I do think opinions do matter. I think, I always say the old adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will effing kill you. At the end of the day, words can be rancor. They could be harsh and they can hurt people. So the reality of it is
influence people, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to grow a cocoon, one of the cocoons might be you're going to grow a thick skin because you don't want to hear what everybody says. I think what Jay has taught us over time is let's listen to the people that might be in discord with us. Let's listen to what those people have to say. Let's not shun them. Let's open our hearts, let them in, try to understand and try to grow from that. At the same time, Don't let ill feeling tether you down, hold you back, and make you not feel that you are deserving of something better. Like Brad Lee talks about, you're deserving of something more. Many of us feel we're not deserving. And the reality of it is that's something going on with you on a personal level. Those are things that other people can't fix. You've got to dig deep. You've got to get past that. And so we're all a work in progress, brother, all of us. So that's really what I want to do in part today. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on a soapbox there. I just, I'm impassioned about this particular subject. I think this applies across many roads and channels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said something there about, oh my goodness, on the cat. I just lost my train of thought there. So, all right, listen. Yeah, listen. I think I've talked too much today. I think actually since my first Zoom was at 7:00 today, I'm glad actually we did this. Now let's set up something for next week. Do you want to look at a chapter for next week?
I got it right here. This trusty, it's right here on my shelf. Here it is. So this will be our 34th episode coming. How about, I saw one today that actually grabbed my attention. Where was it?
Me too, by the way.
What's that?
I did too. I saw one today actually that I was saying I would like to do that one. So I'm curious. Which it would be amazing if we synced up on the same one.
This is interesting. It's a little bit removed from this. How about I quit every day? I'm the entrepreneur. Very interesting to see what Jay has up his sleeve for this particular one. I'll give you the abstract, if you will.
Yeah, please.
On here and just read this as quickly as I can so we don't put our listeners to sleep. I must decide and I must decide and it must be to face the day. I quit every day. I'm the entrepreneur. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. And I think I already can see where that might head.
Cool.
So with that, brother, listen, enjoy.
You want to do next week now? I think actually I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna write down my notes now, and then I'm gonna read it. And I'm curious actually how in sync does that title is. So I'm gonna write my notes first, which is different than we normally do, and then I'm actually gonna read the section to see actually if I can, based on just the title, what my own perception is going to be. So
very good.
All right, next
listener, please hashtag Lucido and Berman. Follow us on LinkedIn. Follow us on YouTube. We've got quite a few videos out there. We don't get a lot of views. I think we do better on these Facebook Lives. There you go. It's right there. It's screaming across. But Andrew and I are putting time into this. I know Jimmy DeLay has been putting a lot of time too. He does great excerpts on the book. I'm very proud of Jimmy. But this is a work in progress, a growth in progress, an evolution in progress. Remember, read to think, write to develop, listen to what is unsaid, and then speak till it go.